There was a moment in history when the entire universe was supposed to change. It was not a battle. It was not the arrival of Frieza. It was not the destruction of a planet. It was something far quieter. A sleeping god of destruction was supposed to open his eyes. He was supposed to remember a dream. He was supposed to hear the name of a warrior he had never met. And that single moment was supposed to set Goku on a path that would eventually lead him beyond the limits of mortal power. But in this timeline, that moment never happened. Beerus remained asleep. Far beyond Earth, inside a world hidden from mortal eyes, Beerus rested upon his enormous bed while years passed without disturbing him. The attendants around him had grown accustomed to his silence. The universe continued moving. Civilizations rose and fell. Planets changed hands, and countless mortals lived entire lifetimes without ever knowing that one of the most powerful beings in existence was sleeping above them. Yet something about the silence was wrong. Whis knew it the moment he entered the chamber that morning. Beerus was not simply sleeping. His energy was unnaturally still, as though something had placed the god of destruction outside the normal flow of time. Whis approached the bed and quietly examined his master. "Lord Beerus," he said. There was no response. Whis tried again, this time with a slightly stronger voice. Still nothing. Beerus did not move. He did not complain about food. He did not threaten to destroy a planet. He did not even twitch his ears. Whis' expression remained calm, but his eyes became serious. Beerus had slept for long periods before. That was normal. What was not normal was that Whis could no longer sense the dream that had once been connected to his master. For years, Beerus had occasionally spoken about a mysterious warrior from his dreams, a Saiyan who would one day challenge him, a warrior who possessed a power Beerus could not completely explain. At the time, Whis had considered the dream nothing more than an interesting possibility. But the dream had always felt different from ordinary dreams. It carried the weight of prophecy. It was as if something beyond Beerus himself had placed the image inside his mind, and now the dream was gone. Whis looked toward the endless universe beyond the chamber and quietly realized something terrifying. Beerus had not forgotten the dream. The universe had forgotten it for him. On Earth, meanwhile, Son Goku was living a completely different life. He was still unbelievably strong. He still trained every day. He still chased stronger opponents with the excitement of a child discovering a new game. But there was something missing from his future that he could not possibly know about. He had never heard the words Super Saiyan God. He had never met Beerus. He had never entered the world of the gods. And because Beerus had never awakened, Goku's path had remained entirely mortal. At first, that did not seem like a problem. Goku continued training with Vegeta. The two Saiyans pushed one another further every day. Their rivalry became fiercer, their techniques sharper, and their power greater. Yet no matter how strong they became, there was always a strange ceiling above them, a limit they could feel but could never break. Vegeta hated that feeling. One evening, after another brutal training session, Vegeta stood alone on the training grounds, staring at his hands. He had become stronger than the Saiyan he once believed he would ever be. He had surpassed enemies who had once seemed like gods. But somewhere deep inside, he knew there was something beyond his reach. Goku noticed it too. "Something bothering you?" Goku asked. Vegeta turned toward him. "Do you ever get the feeling that we're training for something that hasn't happened yet?" Goku smiled. "All the time," Vegeta frowned. "That's not an answer. It kind of is." Neither of them knew how important those words were, because far away, in the realm of the gods, something had begun to move. Beerus' fingers twitched. Whis immediately turned toward him. For the first time in years, the god of destruction opened his eyes. But instead of waking with anger or hunger, Beerus looked directly at Whis with an expression Whis had never seen before. Fear. "Whis," Beerus whispered. "Yes, Lord Beerus? Something is missing." Whis remained silent. Beerus slowly sat up. "I dreamed about a Saiyan." Whis' eyes narrowed. "A Saiyan who was supposed to become a god." Beerus looked toward the stars. "But I don't remember his face." Whis immediately understood that this was not an ordinary memory loss. Beerus had forgotten details before. He had forgotten meals, planets, promises, and entire civilizations. But this was different. The dream of the Super Saiyan God had never been something Beerus remembered naturally. It had always existed like a fixed point in his consciousness. Now that fixed point was gone. "Perhaps you simply need to rest," Whis suggested. Beerus looked at him sharply. "Don't lie to me. I would never." "You just did," I said perhaps. Beerus narrowed his eyes. "You know something." Whis smiled faintly. "I know many things. Then tell me what I forgot." For several seconds, Whis said nothing. Then he raised his staff. The air around them changed. A circular image appeared inside the staff, revealing a distant planet. Earth. Beerus stared at it. That planet? Yes! Why? Because something is happening there. The image shifted. Goku appeared. Beerus watched the Saiyan training beneath the Earth's sky. There was nothing unusual about him. No divine aura. No godly energy. No transformation beyond the powers a mortal Saiyan could achieve. Beerus stared longer. I know him. You should. Who is he? Whis looked at Beerus. Son Goku. Beerus's expression hardened. The name triggered something. For one brief instant, he saw a flash. Goku standing in a red aura. Vegeta beside him. A group of Saiyans forming a circle. A divine energy rising into the heavens. Then the vision vanished. Beerus stood immediately. That was it. What was? The dream. Whis did not answer. Beerus's voice became colder. I was supposed to meet him. Yes. I was supposed to fight him. Yes. And he was supposed to become a god. Yes. Beerus looked at Whis. Then why hasn't any of it happened? Whis finally lowered his staff. Because, Lord Beerus, in this timeline, you never woke up. Beerus stared at him. That doesn't make sense. It does if the event required your awakening. Beerus slowly looked back toward Earth. For the first time, he realized the horrifying truth. The future had not merely changed. It had been removed. On Earth, Goku suddenly stopped training. He looked toward the sky. Vegeta noticed. What is it? I don't know. Goku's eyes narrowed. For a second, I felt something. What? Someone watching me, Vegeta scoffed. Probably another enemy. No. Goku looked toward the stars. It felt like something was trying to remember me. That night, Goku dreamed. He was standing in a place he had never seen before. The ground beneath him was black, covered in glowing purple cracks. Above him stretched an enormous red sky. Somewhere in the distance, he heard a voice. You were supposed to come, Goku turned. Nobody was there. Who are you? The voice answered. You were supposed to become something more. Goku felt a strange energy surrounding him. Then he saw a figure. A tall, blue-skinned being with white hair. Whis. But this version of Whis looked terrified. Wake up, Whis said. Goku stared at him. Wake up from what? Not from the dream. Whis looked behind him. Wake up before they realize you are still here. Goku suddenly woke. His entire body was covered in sweat. He sat up and looked around the room. Chi-Chi was asleep. The house was silent, but Goku could still hear the voice. You were supposed to become a god. The next morning, Goku told Vegeta. Vegeta did not laugh. Instead, he became unusually quiet. You dreamed of a god? I think so. What did he look like? Goku described Whis. Vegeta's expression changed. I've never seen him. Neither have I. Then why does that name feel familiar? Goku looked at him. You know his name? Vegeta stared at the ground. No! He clenched his fist. But I feel like I should. That was when the universe made its first mistake. It allowed two mortals to remember something that had been erased. Beerus traveled toward Earth. Whis followed beside him. But the closer they came to the planet, the more uncomfortable Whis became. Something wrong? Beerus asked. Yes! Tell me! I cannot sense the future! Beerus stopped. What do you mean? Normally, I can observe countless possibilities. They overlap. They branch. They disappear. That is the nature of time. But around Earth, Whis looked down. There is only darkness. Beerus's eyes narrowed. No future? No. Destroyed? No. Changed? No. Whis's voice became quieter. It is as if the future was never written. Beerus looked toward Earth. That shouldn't be possible. Exactly. They descended. The moment Beerus's feet touched the planet, Goku felt him. He rushed outside. Vegeta followed. For a few seconds, neither Saiyan spoke. Beerus looked at Goku. Goku looked at Beerus. And then something impossible happened. Beerus remembered everything. The dream. The battle. The Super Saiyan God. Goku standing before him. The shock of discovering a mortal capable of touching divine power. The future that followed. The battles against Frieza. The arrival of Goku Black. The tournament of power. Ultra Instinct. All of it flooded through Beerus's mind. He staggered. Whis immediately grabbed his shoulder. Lord Beerus! Beerus breathed heavily. Goku stepped forward. Are you okay? Beerus looked at him. You! Goku blinked. What? You're the one. Vegeta stepped forward. The one what? Beerus stared at Goku with something approaching disbelief. You were supposed to become a god. Goku scratched his head. I don't think so. Beerus suddenly looked at Whis. Why doesn't he remember? Whis' expression was grim, because he never became one. Beerus turned back toward Goku. Then he noticed Vegeta. Another flash hit him. Vegeta standing beside Goku. Vegeta transformed. Vegeta training with Whis. Vegeta confronting gods. Vegeta becoming something beyond what Beerus had expected. Beerus suddenly understood why the universe had felt wrong. It wasn't only Goku who had been diverted from his path. Vegeta had been diverted too. The two Saiyans had never entered the divine world. And without them, countless events had never happened. Beerus looked at Whis. Who did this? Whis was silent. Whis, I don't know. You're lying again. I wish I were. Before Beerus could respond, the sky darkened. A voice echoed across the planet. Finally, everyone looked upward. A massive black crack opened in the sky. Something stepped through. It looked almost human. Tall, thin, wrapped in dark robes. Its face was hidden. Goku immediately felt danger. Vegeta moved into a fighting stance. Beerus looked at the figure and froze. No! Whis raised his staff. You recognize it? Beerus' voice was barely audible. That is the reason I never woke up. The figure smiled beneath its hood. You remember! Beerus' energy exploded. You erased my dream. The figure laughed. I erased your awakening. Goku looked confused. Why? The figure looked directly at him. Because the moment you became a god, you became visible. Visible to who? Goku asked. The figure answered. To the beings who live beyond the gods. The figure raised one hand. The entire planet shook. Beerus immediately stepped forward. You will not touch Earth. You misunderstand, Beerus. The figure's voice remained calm. I don't need to touch Earth, it pointed at Goku. I only need him. Goku looked at himself. Me? Yes. Vegeta stepped between them. You're gonna have to get through me. The figure laughed. That is exactly what I wanted. A wave of energy exploded outward. Vegeta was thrown across the landscape. Goku transformed immediately. Super Saiyan Blue did not exist in this timeline. Neither did Super Saiyan God. So Goku's strongest transformation erupted in golden light. He attacked. The mysterious being caught his fist. Goku's eyes widened. The figure threw him through a mountain. Beerus moved. Enough. For the first time, the god of destruction released his full power. The figure blocked the attack. The collision shook the planet. Whis watched carefully. Then he realized something. Lord Beerus! What? You cannot destroy it! Beerus gritted his teeth. Why? Because it isn't completely inside our universe. Beerus stared at the enemy. The figure smiled. I exist between possibilities. Whis' eyes widened. A temporal parasite. The figure looked at him. You still remember that name. Beerus turned toward Whis. What is a temporal parasite? Whis answered without taking his eyes off the creature. A being that survives by consuming abandoned futures. Goku slowly stood. Abandoned futures? Yes. Whis looked at him. Every time history changes, possibilities disappear. Most simply cease to exist. But some beings can feed on those discarded timelines. Vegeta looked at the creature. And it has been feeding on ours? Not yours. Whis pointed toward Goku. His. The creature laughed. Exactly! Goku stared. But why me? Because you were never ordinary. Beerus looked at him. That is what the dream was warning me about. The creature explained that Goku's transformation into a Super Saiyan God was never simply a power-up. It was a beacon. The moment Goku achieved divine energy, his existence would become connected to the structure of the universe itself. His battles would create ripples that reached realms even the gods of destruction could not see. And something beyond those realms had noticed. So the creature had gone backward. It had altered the moment Beerus was supposed to wake. It had erased the dream. It had prevented the Super Saiyan God ritual. It had severed Goku from divine power. And by doing so, it believed it had made him invisible. But it had made a mistake. Goku had still grown stronger. He had still surpassed mortal limits. And now, because Beerus had finally awakened, the missing timeline had begun repairing itself. The creature looked at Goku. You were never supposed to remember. Goku smiled. Well, I do now. His aura changed. Not golden, not blue. Something different. A faint red glow appeared around him. Beerus stared. That can't be. Whis' eyes widened. The divine energy is returning on its own. Goku looked at his hands. He could feel something inside himself. A power that had been waiting. A power that did not belong to any transformation he had ever known. Vegeta watched him. For the first time in his life, he felt something he hated. Fear. Not fear of Goku. Fear of what Goku might become. The creature attacked. Goku disappeared. He reappeared behind it and struck. The blow sent the creature through the black crack in the sky. Beerus looked at Goku. "You weren't supposed to awaken that yet." Goku smiled. "Guess somebody forgot to tell me." But Whis wasn't smiling, because he had realized something worse. The creature had not been trying to stop Goku from becoming a god. It had been trying to stop Goku from becoming something beyond a god. The battle moved beyond Earth. Beerus and Whis followed the creature through the dimensional crack while Goku and Vegeta remained behind. Inside the space between timelines, there were countless versions of reality. Whis saw them. In one, Goku became a god. In another, Vegeta became one first. In another, neither survived. In another, Beerus destroyed Earth. In another, Frieza conquered the universe. In another, Goku never landed on Earth. But one timeline was different. Whis stared at it. There was no Goku. There was no Vegeta. There was no Beerus. Only an empty universe. "That is the future you were afraid of," the creature said. Whis looked at it. "What happened?" the creature answered. "Nothing," Whis understood. A universe without Goku had not been destroyed. It had simply become empty of possibility. Goku's existence created choices. Every battle created another branch. Every transformation opened another path. Every friendship changed someone else's destiny. Goku was not merely a powerful warrior. He was a source of possibility. And the creature had been feeding on those possibilities. Beerus finally understood why his dream had existed. It had not been a prophecy. It had been a warning. Something had known that Goku would eventually become powerful enough to disturb the boundaries between mortal and divine existence. And Beerus had been the first god capable of recognizing him. So the creature had removed Beerus from the equation. Beerus had never awakened. Goku had never become a god. The universe had been kept quiet. But it had not been saved. It had merely been delayed. Beerus looked at the creature. "You made one mistake." "What?" "You assumed I would always stay asleep." Beerus raised his hand. A sphere of destruction formed in his palm. The creature's smile disappeared. "You cannot destroy me," Beerus smiled. "Maybe not." He looked toward Whis. "But I don't have to." Whis understood immediately. He raised his staff. The space around them began collapsing, not destroying, reconnecting. Every abandoned future started rushing back into existence. The creature screamed. "What are you doing?" Whis answered calmly. "Returning what you stole." Millions of possibilities flooded through the dimensional space. The creature began to weaken. Beerus stepped closer. "You wanted a universe without Goku." He raised his hand. "But you forgot something." The creature looked at him. "What?" Beerus's eyes became cold. "I am the god of destruction." The sphere touched the creature. Everything went silent. Then it vanished. The dimensional crack closed. On Earth, Goku suddenly fell to his knees. Vegeta caught him. "What happened?" Goku looked up. "I saw everything." "What?" "The future." Vegeta stared. "And?" Goku smiled faintly. "I think we're supposed to become stronger." Vegeta smirked. "That was obvious." "No." Goku looked toward the sky. "Stronger than we thought." Days passed. Earth returned to normal. But Beerus did not leave. He remained near Goku and Vegeta, watching them train. Goku's strange red aura appeared occasionally. Vegeta had begun sensing divine energy inside himself as well. Neither understood what it meant. Eventually, Vegeta approached Beerus. "You knew." Beerus looked at him. "Knew what?" "That our lives were supposed to be different." Beerus remained silent. "You knew Goku was supposed to become a god." "Yes." "And me?" Beerus looked at Vegeta. "You were supposed to follow him." Vegeta frowned. "Follow him? Not behind him." Beerus's voice became serious. "Beside him." Vegeta said nothing. Beerus continued. "There were futures where you surpassed him." Vegeta's eyes widened. "Really?" "There were futures where he surpassed you forever." Vegeta's expression darkened. "And which one is supposed to happen?" Beerus smiled. "That's the point." He walked away. "There is no supposed to anymore." Whis watched from a distance. Goku approached him. "So the whole thing happened because Beerus never woke up?" Whis smiled. "Not exactly. What do you mean?" "Beerus's awakening was supposed to begin a chain of events, and we stopped it." "No." Whis looked toward the sky. "You completed it differently." Goku looked confused. Whis continued. "Perhaps that is what the universe was trying to show us." "What?" "That destiny is not a road." Goku smiled. "It's more like training?" Whis laughed softly. "Perhaps." That night, Beerus returned to his chamber. He lay down. He closed his eyes. For the first time in years, he dreamed again. He saw Goku. He saw Vegeta. He saw gods. He saw universes. He saw battles beyond imagination. And then he saw something that made him open his eyes immediately. A figure stood beyond the edge of existence, watching, waiting. Beerus sat upright. Whis entered the room. "You saw it too!" Beerus looked at him. "The future! Yes! Not the one we changed!" Whis nodded. "The one beyond it." Beerus's expression became unusually serious. "How long?" Whis looked toward the stars. "Not long." Beerus clenched his fist. "Does Goku know?" "No." "Good." Whis looked at him. "Why?" Beerus stood. "Because if he knows something is coming," he smiled, "he'll go looking for it." Whis sighed. "That is precisely what worries me." Far away on Earth, Goku suddenly opened his eyes. He looked toward the sky. That strange red aura returned around him. For just a moment, he heard a voice. Not the voice of the temporal creature, not Beerus, not Whis. Something older, something deeper, something that had been waiting long before Goku was born. It whispered only 3 words. "You were late." Goku stared into the darkness. Then he smiled. "Who are you?" There was no answer. But somewhere beyond the universe, something opened its eyes. And for the first time, Beerus realized the truth. He had not awakened too late. He had awakened exactly when he was needed. Because the story of Goku becoming a god had never been the end of the prophecy. It had only been the beginning. And now that the universe had remembered the future it was never supposed to have, something else had remembered Goku. Something even the gods of destruction had forgotten. And this time, there would be no sleeping god standing between them.